It's about damn time.
It's about damn time.
This is the way.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Chapter Fit channel. My name is Brett. We make the motorcycle videos and motorcycle vlogs here on YouTube. What's it about damn time for? About damn time that this Harley Davidson Dyna was back out on the road filming moto vlogs. But it's not been the best at reliability lately, I guess would be a good way of putting it. But I think I cured it. So let's go and get it going, and we'll talk about what's going on with it and what still needs to be addressed. That's one of them. I think I have a low battery, but that's better than it was. Alright, so a few weeks ago I posted in my update video with how my July went, I posted this video. And yeah, she was sounding real bad. I'm not sure if you're able to hear the terrible knocking that was going on in that video, just because of, you know, iPhone, Android microphone, headphone quality and whatnot, but there was a distinct, loud knocking sound there, which, whew, just wasn't pleasant. So that was the first thing that, you know, got kind of alerted me that the Dyna's maybe not in a rideable state at the time. There were some other clues to it. You saw how the battery didn't really want to kick over necessarily right away. I think the battery's probably on its last leg. And then I did also notice that it seemed down on power. I mean, I know it's a 96 cubic inch Harley Dyna, which doesn't have the most power.
Peter, what did you say his power level is? It's over 9,000! 9,000?! There's no way that can be right!
But it should have a little bit more power than what it was feeling like. So what exactly went wrong with it, and what still needs to be addressed? Well, yours truly always likes to look at the worst possible scenario first. I hear this knock, and instead of looking for the simple things, I'm thinking, man, is it rockers? Is it internals? What's making this god-awful noise?
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
And I even had set up an appointment with my local independent. He was going to take a look at it. He was actually even going to bring a trailer from my description of it. I asked him, is there a way to get it there? He's like, I could trailer it there if you know, are worried that much about it. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll set something up next week. I went ahead and I started doing a little bit of investigating myself to see if I could figure out what the issue was. A lot of people had posted off of that video that I just showed earlier that it sounded a lot like an exhaust leak. I'd never heard an exhaust leak like that before, but I was like, well, okay, there's this many people who are hearing that. Maybe I'm the crazy one and they actually know what's up. So on the Monday before I was supposed to arrange to go ahead and have him come by with the trailer to pick it up, I decided to do one last little bit of investigational work on it. Leading up to that, I looked into everything. I talked to the previous people who had rode the bike, and so that would have been Joe from Salty and Sprinkles, and then also would have been Bolt Bucket. And they didn't say anything to me at the time because they were being allowed to use a motorcycle for free, but they came back and said that it did feel like the power was down on it compared to what they were expecting. Again, we're not expecting it to be super duper fast or anything like that, but it should have some torque. It should have some get up and go for the highway, but it was a struggle. I'd let my neighbor ride it a few times, and I asked him, you know, what kind of gas did you put back in it? Because I know he had mentioned that he was always very nice. He topped off the gas every time he got done riding it, which was actually very appreciative. But, you know, some people, they don't know to put necessarily 91 in it, because you could probably get away with 87, but with the tune that's on here, I prefer to always have 91. So I thought, well, is it possible that this knocking is detonation due to like 87 octane or something like that? But no, he said, nah man, always do 91, always have. I'm like, all right, oh cool. That just saved me from putting some octane booster or stuff in there. So, you know, I decided, okay, it's Monday morning, everyone's saying exhaust leak, let's look for an exhaust leak. Let me tell you about the exhaust leak. I felt like such a goober and such a dum-dum. Somehow, the back collector, as it feeds into the engine, had simply rattled loose. Both bolts had came out, and the bracket was hanging there, and the pipe, you could literally just shake it around. Felt like a complete dumbass not checking the simple things first. Maybe that's what we should call this video. Always check the simple things. So I decided, okay, let's see what I need to do to get this back in there. Well, obviously I lost both of the nuts that are holding the bracket into place. So I went and bought new gaskets and new nuts. That way I could just go ahead and pull the exhaust all the way off, inspect it, and then reinstall it. So I got that done shortly after work one day, and once you know, I fired her up, and then that's where this video came from.
People make their jokes and say we off to see the wizard, but me and Dorothy and Toto's on your ass when you visit. It's a lie.
Yeah, it was music to my ears. The annoying bad noise that the knocking was gone. So it's like, all right, that's gone. Now, does that also solve my power issue? Because if you think about it, if you don't have a whole pipe hooked up to your engine, that's gonna probably provide a lot of back pressure loss. So yeah, it's probably reasonable to think that that's what was causing the power issue. So of course I had to go out and try it out, and man, it feels like the bike that I'm used to. It's got, you know, again, not a ton of power, but it's got enough power to pull us along at a nice reasonable pace. Just kind of going nice and slow here today as I'm explaining the story though. So yeah, that seemed to at least cure the knocking. Now, the bike still isn't completely perfect, but I feel she's at least reliable to the point where I could take her on trips and journeys by myself again and not have to worry too much about her leaving me stranded. So the other thing that getting the collector into the motor actually cured for me was the start issue. Now, we saw at the beginning of this video, it kind of struggled a little bit to turn over. I think that's battery related, but there were times where I would turn on the motor and just like a big old puff of poof, like burnt oil would just puff out of the motor. And that should have been my cure, or my clue that there was something not connected. The fact that would just poofed out. But you know, stupid as me, or whatever the saying would be for that. So ever since I've gotten everything bolted back up the way it should be, that's also been cured. Sure, I might have a little bit of a start issue, again, due to the battery, but now it starts up much better, more frequently. I don't struggle. Like what we saw earlier, that was the biggest struggle I've seen with it since I got everything fixed up and repaired. So I'm pretty sure once I get the battery swapped out here, that should alleviate the starting issues. So, but right now I'm not too concerned about it. It still does turn over pretty good. I just think it's been 3 or 4 years. Probably time to go ahead and replace the battery anyway. All right, let's check the power here. Oh yeah. Again, she's not fast. She's not Milwaukee 8 quick. She's not Z900RS quick. But she's got it where it counts.
She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid. I've made a lot of special modifications myself.
This is just a good old cruiser is what it kind of comes down to. Not the best at anything, not the worst at anything. But what else is still wrong with her that we probably need to get addressed sooner than later? Well, the first thing is the front brakes. The front brakes are garbage. Now, I'm a rear brake kind of guy, so I don't utilize the front a whole lot. But as I'm pulling in on it, you can see it's, now granted I'm not squeezing all the way, but it's not slowing me down the way it should. And I even think the last time I was at Harley, they said you might be about due for brake pads on the front. At the same time, I'll be due for a new front tire, which is the other thing that's needing to be replaced up there, is I do need a new front tire. So I'll probably just take that into Harley, have them put a new crappy Dunlop on there. And then that way, hopefully the two Dunlops wear out together, and then I could actually go ahead and buy some better tire, because I'm really tired of the Dunlops, truth be told. I might just go ahead and say screw it and replace the rear as well. Get some Michelin, something Commander 2, something that's going to be a little bit better than what's on there. So yeah, the brakes are in very much of a need of a repair, and probably need to go ahead and flush the brake fluid too. I don't think I've done that since I've owned the bike. So yeah, I'm not the bestest of caretakers sometimes. All right, so I have done a little bit of maintenance on it as I was trying to figure out what's wrong with the bike. I did go ahead and drain the oil. So we got fresh synthetic in here, so at least we know the motor is good. The motor is not anything wrong with it. Move, bird, move. Thank you. The next thing that still needs to be looked into is, you won't be able to hear it in this video. Well, maybe you'd hear it right here at this bridge. Let's see here. There's a rattle, and I thought I had fixed it. I thought it was like a heat shield that I didn't get bolted up all the way. But whenever I go over some significant bumps, I hear a dunk, a dunk. I'm not quite sure where it's coming from. It might be coming from the handlebars, so I may pull the fairing off and try and tighten that up, see if that cures that, but I'm not sure exactly. I pulled the dash already, thinking it was maybe something loose under there. Nope, nothing under there. And I think the only other thing at the time that needs to be addressed with the Dyna is the rear brake switch. Kind of a common failure item. It's basically just, it's right underneath the frame. It's really easy to get to, but you need to have a second set of hands to have your brakes applied. That way you can get away with replacing this little brake switch thing without having to bleed the brakes at the same time. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully that's all it's going to take to cure it. But moral of the story is, when something goes wrong, start with the simple fixes, because that will probably 99% of the time cure the problem. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the Dyna update. You should be seeing it a little bit more again, since I'm back to actually riding it with a smile. But that being said, I will catch you guys on the next Dark Side, as this is the way. Thanks for joining me this morning. Later!